Are you tired of hitting roadblocks in your dating life? Join me for a free masterclass on Wednesday, January 10th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, where I'll be revealing the 3 nice guy dating patterns that turn women off and what you should be doing instead. Unlock the secrets to creating genuine attraction. Click the link in the description to sign up now. What up, IDS Mob? I'm your dating coach, HarryWilmington. And today I have an interesting comment I got from a woman on my Confirming Dates Kills Attraction video. You know, I've done a lot of videos and commentary on this channel talking about how one of the best ways for you to start being able to get dates and keep them is to get rid of confirming dates. And what I mean by this is that when you're on the phone call or in the texting exchange whereby you're setting up a date, everything that's going to happen on that date in terms of day, time, place, location, pickup, etc., should be confirmed in that initial phone call or texting sequence. Anything that you do after that, it can start to give an impression of you as feeling less confident in yourself, less confident in her ability to want to actually keep a date, because by reaching out later on and saying, hey, so we just want to make sure we're still on for our date, or hey, I hope we'll see you soon, that can give away an impression to a woman subconsciously that you don't actually feel that you're good enough for her to even remember that a date's happening. And so I try to stress to you guys, this is why I have found in my personal dating life that I was able to keep a lot more dates when I was actually not trying to confirm them, right? And so I had a woman comment under the video I did called Confirming Dates Kills Attraction, whereby she vehemently disagrees about that, and I want to talk about it. So her comment goes like this. She says, absolutely not true. I didn't show up for a date today because there was no confirmation. A man needs to create the emotional and psychological safety for a woman by confirming the date for her to feel safe enough to meet with him. Your perspective of confirming by asking is from a weak male perspective. A strong male perspective is to confirm the date with a statement by saying something like, I'm looking forward to seeing you later, or see you today at 6. Healthy men who want a healthy relationship with a woman do not take this man's advice. So first off, I always appreciate any kind of engagement that I get on my channel, and I'm all for people that are disagreeing. As much as she disagrees with me and as much as the ending sentence here isn't really to my liking, she came to me relatively respectfully, even though she's not agreeing with what I said. So at least I want to thank her for that. Now, I want to say that obviously I'm going to have a bit of a different opinion from her for one simple reason, is that I, as the guy, am the one that has to go to women and ask them for dates, and then make the decision about whether I confirm that date or not. And then based on that experience, determining which method of madness I'm going to do that's going to get me better results. So as I've said on this channel, all my advice is based on my experiences in dating, right? So I found in my experiences in dating that when I would ask a woman out for a date and she'd say yes, that if I were to go back and try to reconfirm that date, I had more often than not experiences of that resulting in the woman canceling last minute. Oh, I suddenly can't make it, or oh, something came up, or oh, I'm not feeling well, or blah, 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 right? Meanwhile, in my dating experience, I found that when I stopped doing that, when I would just confirm everything on that initial call and then just leave it alone, I found that the result of that was that more women showed up for dates. Whether or not they ended up going long-term or not, the reality is I had more chances to go on more dates with women that I did not confirm with. So based on my experience of confirming and not confirming, which do you see benefited me more? I found in my experience that I got more benefit when I did not confirm, which means in my head, I have to start analyzing, okay, why is that a thing? And what I came to discover was that I look like I'm more confident when I am not reconfirming dates. Now, again, women are the ones that have to respond to the stuff we're doing. So I also noticed that for the few women that may have been like, oh, you didn't reconfirm, so I didn't know that the date was on, I also found later on in dating those women that those women were anxious and they were insecure and they didn't think highly of themselves, to where part of the reason they wanted me to reconfirm is because they wanted me to reconfirm to their ego that they're actually worth going out with, and that if I didn't reconfirm, I'm probably playing a trick on them, or that I'm going to be just like all the other guys that promised one thing and didn't do another. So in short, I found that the women that really needed reconfirmation texts or reconfirmation calls to make sure the date was still on ended up being women that had that had damage, or that really thought low of themselves, or had a traumatic past, right? So I also found a result of that not confirming was a great way to also suss out the women that had low self-esteem and a traumatic past, all right? So here's the thing, guys. Some of the things that you're gonna do in the dating game, it's not meant to get you the woman. Sometimes those things that you do are meant to be able to help you separate women that would be good dating prospects from women that would be bad dating prospects. And not confirming dates is one of those things. Think about this, right? Let's say you don't reconfirm for a date, and then the woman hits you up. Two things are gonna happen. Either she's gonna hit you up and say, hey, just wanna make sure we're still on for tonight, look forward to seeing you. Or she's gonna say, why couldn't you reconfirm for me? Oh my God, I'm not gonna do the date now. Now, which one of those women do you think has a healthier attitude about dating and about life in general? The one that was still was checking to make sure the date's still happening, but she's still extremely happy to see you and is showing that? Or the one that's now yelling at you and canceling a date and saying, you blah, 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 because you didn't want to reconfirm? So again, you actually do yourself a service by not doing that. Now, before I continue on, if this message is gelling with you and you want to show your support, you can leave a Cash App, $HarryWilmington, or a super chat. You can also go to my website, check out my ebooks, audiobooks, and programs, all designed to help you date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. And of course, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so now I want to go into some of the parts where she is being hypocritical in terms of she's saying one thing, but in the next sentence, she's saying something else that contradicts the thing she was talking about in the previous sentence, right? So she says, a man needs to create the emotional and psychological safety for a woman by confirming the date for her to feel safe enough to meet with him. Now, here's the problem I have with that sentence, right? If you were talking to a man long enough, say by way of a dating app, or maybe you met him at a party initially and were talking on the phone or whatever, then at the point that he asked for the date and the woman said yes, then the thought would be that when she said yes, that yes indicated that she felt more than comfortable enough with the guy she's talking to meet him in public, all right? So the confirmation of the date is the thing that should give that away. You confirming later on is not going to suddenly make her think, oh my God, I now trust him even more. Like, that doesn't actually make any sense, right? Because if she didn't feel psychologically safe enough to go out with this guy, she would have just said no to the date, or said, well, let's keep talking a little bit more because I need to get to know you a bit more before I actually go on a date with you. But none of that happened. But think about the actions of all this, right? So you call a girl up, you say, hey, I want to take you out this day, this time. Okay, great. I will see you tomorrow, right? She said yes to the date on the phone, and you hang up. What is you not confirming with her later gonna do to make her feel unsafe? Like, think about the mechanics, right? You've asked her out. Ideally, you're not asking her to your place as the first date. So you've asked her out to a public location where there's gonna be a bunch of other people there in a well-lit area. Even if it's nighttime, there's gonna be lights and stuff everywhere, right? So there's no reason for her at this point to not feel safe to see you. So you not confirming the date is not gonna do anything to make her suddenly feel unsafe. Like, she felt safe when she said, yes, I wanna go on a date. And then all of a sudden the next day, ooh, he didn't confirm the date. Oh my God, I suddenly feel like I'm not safe around this guy. Like, none of that makes sense. What she's trying to do is she's trying to give an excuse to the fact that she had low interest in this guy and didn't want to see him. Why do I say low interest? Because I can assure you guys, this is true for every woman that you will ever try to date, right? If she found you to be a guy that she's highly interested in, had a great rapport with, and is genuinely excited about, then you not confirming is not going to stop her from at the very least showing up to make sure the date's happening, or from reaching out to you to make sure that you're still keeping your end of the bargain and agreeing to show up. And again, I'm saying this based on experience because I've been out with women who I had a crush on that maybe they weren't showing the most enthusiasm, but at the point where I didn't reconfirm, they hit me up. Even if they didn't want to see me, they were like, hey, so are we still doing the date or what? So you can't tell me that confirming is the best option because, again, in my experience, when I've confirmed, the results usually been, well, I'm not sure, I don't know, So you can't go with that. And so this is true to this woman. This woman will tell you up and down, left and right, that every guy she's ever gone out with ever has always had to reconfirm, and all the guys that have never reconfirmed, she's dumped all of them. And I can assure you that has not been the case for guys that she's been extremely highly interested in. If she goes back in her dating history and really looks at the guys that she either got into relationships with or that she really had a high interest in, I can assure you she's made some exceptions to this rule. But that's the point, is that when women are highly interested, they don't need you to reconfirm. They just want to make sure that the date's going to happen, whether that means showing up and hoping to God you show up or reaching out to you. You do not have to be the one to reconfirm, because let's think about that realistically, guy. You set the date. You plan the place and time. There's no way you are going to forget that this date is happening. Therefore, there's no need for you to reconfirm. Now, you might be thinking, but what if she needs a reminder? Let's think about that. Women have memories like elephants. And also, women are consistently looking for that one guy that's going to be their end-all, be-all, that's going to be the last guy they ever have to date. So, if she saw you as potentially being that guy, do you think it would be possible for her at all to forget that you guys have a date happening? And the answer, obviously, is no. So, as much as I appreciate this woman's comment and her perspective, the reality is she is wrong. And also, don't fall for this lie also, because women will do this too. She says here, your perspective of confirming by asking is from a weak male perspective. A strong male perspective is to confirm the date with a statement by saying something like, I'm looking forward to seeing you, or see you at 6, blah, 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 right? Don't let women make you believe that you're not being a strong male if you don't do the things that they feel would be better for you to do as a guy to get their attention. A strong male would know that he is a prize enough to where when he sets a date, women that highly like him are gonna show up. And that you don't have to chase them around constantly to try to make sure that they keep the date. Like, if you set the date, right? And then you're hitting her the next day, hey, so make sure the date's still on, I hope you're gonna show up. That is you trying to chase her down for a date that she already said yes to. It doesn't make sense. So a strong male would have the confidence to know that he is worthy of a woman showing up, and that if this woman decides to flake or not show up, who cares? There are other women out there. That's being a strong male. But don't let women trick you into, well, a strong man would do this or say this, because the reality is they don't often know why it is that the things that attracts them. And so just for my example, right? Women that I did not confirm with suddenly wanted to date me more. They cannot explain why that is, and I can't always explain it. I just know that's what happens, so I do it. So a woman's not going to be able to look at this situation realistically and say, that's dumb. Like, why would I turn down a guy that reconfirms a date? I mean, he's just reconfirming because he's being a gentleman. Like, why wouldn't I like that? I don't know why. I just know that when I did it, and when the clients that I've been teaching this stuff to have tried to confirm dates, the same thing happens to them too, is that they don't get the date. Whereas when they kind of lean back a bit and set the date, but then just leave it alone, that the women show up for dates. It's like a magic trick. I can't explain all this stuff sometimes, guys. I just know that I just work on what works effectively and what's worked for me. So what's worked for me is not confirming. But I'd love to hear your perspective, guys. For you guys out there that like confirming dates, how often do you find those dates stick? I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, so definitely leave them down in the chat. We can have another discussion about it. In the meantime, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you're watching, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and then I will catch you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You